Hey, this is Carrie from Wrap Your Head Around Silks. This is the Expecting Aerialist podcast. Hope you're doing well, having a wonderful week out there. Before we get started, so excited that my teacher training for Wrap Your Head Around Silks is now open to applications. We're going to do June 24th and 25th here in LA at a location in Van Nuys in the Valley. I'm working on the textbook right now. It's 50 plus pages, jam-packed of photos and instruction. We're going to do 4 90-minute Zoom sessions once a week before the in-person time. And we're going to learn a lot. It's going to be structured kind of more like a Pilates certification than anything else, where I'm going to try to make you classroom ready teachers. So that's getting people unstuck. That's learning to deal with a multi-level class, etc. So excited to have you guys. Please email me if you would like to apply, Carrie at wrapyourheadaroundsilks.com. So excited to meet you in person as well. All right, today I'm so excited to have Mayumi Yamamoto. She is an athletic trainer and has a company called MamaBodyology now. And she works with prenatal postpartum women and, helping them get to what they love to do physically. She is a former PMED, performance medicine athletic trainer for Cirque du Soleil. She did Corteo and Amaluna. And she comes to us all the way from the Netherlands, which honestly, if I had to find that on a map, I don't know if I could. But they're out there living the best life, I'm pretty sure, in the Netherlands. All right, guys. So excited for you guys to hear this interview. Let's get started. You're in the Netherlands. Are you from there?
No, I'm from Japan.
Okay, so you were born and raised in Japan?
Yeah, that's correct.
What brings you to the Netherlands?
We kind of liked it here, so that's why we decided to live here.
I love that. What do you love about the Netherlands? I've never been.
Okay, so we are on tour with the Cirque du Soleil. So we're moving on different places. And I gave birth for 2 girls on tour, and we're moving around. The first one was in the US, and the second one in the Germany. Once we know that we found that we have 2 girls or two kids, we start thinking about we need to settle somewhere. And then my husband's from Canada, Montreal. And then that I'm from Japan. So where do we want to live? And we are looking around, like when we're traveling with the circus. Then we kind of had the one spot we wanted to live is Vancouver, because it's kind of midline between the Japan and Canada and Montreal. So neutral place, and then plus they have more like a Asian culture too, and then they have a good, the Asian food. So for me, it's quite easy to live. And then we are looking for another place. And then when I was pregnant with my second one, we are actually in the Netherlands for the show. I speak only Japanese and English. So if I want to live in another country, it needs to be something convenient for me and for him. And when we came here to the Netherlands, even the supermarket cashier, they can speak English. And it's so fluent. And for me, it was surprising because when I go to different countries in Europe, it's sometimes hard to communicate with the people, like Germany, that I cannot communicate with the people in English because they speak German. And France too, France is French, and Spain is Spanish, right? So then we thought it's quite cool that that's so easy to communicate, because if they realize that we don't speak English, they switch English really quickly, so they just communicate in English. So we kind of like, oh, awesome. And also we kind of like that I didn't want to driving around like North America, because I used to live there, but it's nice to convenience for the public transportation, which is happening here. So that's why we kind of like, oh, it's cool here. Then happen to know that the Japanese and Japan and the Netherlands has a little treaty between the countries. So it's quite easy for Japanese to move to the Netherlands. So that's why we decided to live in the Netherlands.
We're going to step back and introduce you and everything. Is your husband a circus person?
Well, he's been working for circus, but he's not a performer.
Oh, okay. So, Mayumi, if you would introduce yourself to the audience, a little bit about what you do. Start from the beginning.
Taking care of a postpartum mom to kind of return to what they love. So like more, I consider from my experience that giving a birth, it's quite a challenging and showing that how much change in the body. And for me, as an athletic trainer who taking care of an injury for the performers, I feel like it's kind of same. We need a rehab. And so that's why I started studying about actually, I learned from that Sarah Duval that you already interviewed her.
Yeah.
So I studied her, the program. And after that, just put me think at the more and more that how important it is to taking care of body after the birth and after the pregnancy. And also that I see that between the gap from the artist trying to going back to the circus, there's no one actually can really guiding that well, because normal orthopedic physio can know about orthopedic, but they are not educated for that the pregnancy or like a postpartum body part. So I thought I can be in the bridge for between the medical system. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And your business is called MamaBodyology. I love it. But your studies, did you study physical therapy?
I studied athletic training in the US.
You studied that, and then you were with Cirque du Soleil for 10 plus years as one of their trainers, or tell me about that job.
It's called in the performance medicine therapist. So like athlete trainer as a physical therapist or physiotherapist coming from different countries actually working for this. So just mainly that the injury care and also prevention and also there's some emergency care. And then so this kind of stuff we are doing on tour. And then, I started with a temporary position in car actually. And then just got the job in the touring show. So that's how I started my career.
Which touring show did you do? Or was it many?
The start was car. And after that, I went to Corteo. And then I moved to the Amaluna. So I worked with 3 shows.
They call them PMEDs, right?
Yeah. Performance medicine. So PMED.
My friend Leslie Vaughn is in love.
Yeah. Okay.
And we have a group chat of all of us, and she talks about PMEDs almost every week.
Okay.
You know, this is so specific because I've never had somebody like you on. I've had so many physical therapists, personal trainers, but actually working with these like really high level athletes. I want to ask you about the postpartum stuff, but just the regular athlete. What was it like, maybe like on a daily basis? Like what kind of things would you see with the artists that were on your show that you had to help them maintain?
You know, they're really talented people. So first thing first, I was really shocked that I used working with a football team, like American football team. So the circus artist is a totally different population. And I've never worked with a gymnastics or contortionist. So for me, contortionist is kind of what's going on with the joint. It's not something I used to see. So first I was really shocked where to go and how I can help them too. But then what I see is that they are very good at using their body or chronic injury. So like using the repetitive stress is kind of creating some injury. So that I see more often than the acute injury, something like accident stuff thing happen, that is we call it acute injury, but we see more often that the more like a chronic injury, so more like doing the same thing over and over. So that's why you're creating the stress.
So interesting with contortionists.
Yeah.
How do you treat it? How do you treat a contortionist?
One of the artists, she has a lower back pain. So when you have a lower back pain, like often it's coming from the imbalance of the core stability. So we want to give her opportunity to give her that exercise of kind of controlling the core, so core strengthening. But she kind of refused to do it. Her background is that if she want to keep training for the core strengthening, she's going to lose flexibility that she has. So it's going to be impact on her performance. So she kind of refused to do the exercises because she doesn't want to get too solid by training the core strengths. So that was quite interesting for me that where they are coming from, you have a different education and different idea of what is good for the body and for that how you need to perform and where you want to go. So you need to be, sometimes it's hard to be on the same page because everybody has a different education and then just how we believe it's going to be good for her body, but she feel like this is going to creating her limitation for her performance. So that was quite interesting cultural, the mix. It was really, in a way, it's quite fun too.
Yeah. So it's intriguing, right? It's super interesting.
Yeah.
And how did you resolve that? Or did she just survive with the pain?
Well, not necessarily, because at one point, for me, how we believe, of course, I'm going to educating them, not educating them, but I'm going to tell them our perspective, because that's going to give opportunity to stabilizing, but it doesn't actually limit the heart performance itself. So it's take time because that's their belief she had already. So we need to kind of explain and let her try a little bit more. And then she kind of start accepting. But it's really cool that how the different background people has different perspectives. So give you like a common sense doesn't exist.
Right.
It was quite interesting how we kind of communicate to find that the neutral point that she need to be agreed what she's going to do, right? So that was quite the interesting part for me that working for Circus.
And more relevant for this podcast, how about aerialists? What did you see with aerialists? We have shoulder issues, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's simply, I think they learn how to do the dynamic act in the performance. That's the part that they are strong. And that's how you perform too. But they often forget about the stabilizing muscle. So more like a rotator cuff and the scapular stabilization. If you don't have that, it's really giving them more stress on the one specific spot. So that's the part I see a lot.
It's so hard because these artists are doing 8 to 12 shows a week. Mm-hmm. They have the same act every show, 2 shows a night. Yeah. I mean, you're basically just always trying to just catch up, right?
Yeah.
With the body, because you're like, okay, you're already creating an imbalance because you're doing the same thing. The cross training is so hard because it's so, you're already so exhausted. You just maybe want to rest. You have to do this PT so that you can try to create a balanced body, but that must be so difficult. And for you helping all of these artists at the same time, that must be challenging.
When I started with Amaluna, I was more talking about the prevention and more like a releasing and the maintenance, because we knew that they want to perform a long time. So what they need to know is what's their weakness, what's the part they're going to stress a lot. So I told them like going to the toilet, when you're going to do poo, you're going to flush. So same thing. So when you want to do performance, you should release. It's kind of refreshing. So I'm just keep kind of pushing them to do more self-treatment, a little bit more and more self-care. Then it's getting like a more, we see a lot of that show in Amaluna. I see a lot of people stay after the show and try to release in their bodies, kind of refreshing. So not going to carry the weight of the stress to the next day. So that I thought it was quite the improvement that we see it.
I love that you use the pooping metaphor because I use that all the time. I use it all the time, but not the toilet. Like, I'm like, you're going to eat all the time, but never poo. You have to poo. That's how I do it. Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to more flushing out the poo out from the toilet. Do you know what I mean?
Like refresh out the body, the poo out the butt.
Yeah. Okay. It's interesting.
I also like to say you can't just eat and use the dishes and not wash the dishes. That's what I like to say too.
Okay. It's more cleaner than mine, I think. Yeah, but mine kind of smell like
yeah. When did you leave touring?
After I gave birth with my second, when we decided to settle to the Netherlands.
Okay. And how long ago was that?
7 years ago, I think. Yeah, 7 years ago.
If there's anything that stands out from the prenatal period, the labor themselves, and the postpartum that helped inform you for your job?
To be honest, didn't think anything about the pregnancy. And then I had the C-section, the planned C-section for the first one. And then second one was in the Germany. And I was on maybe 3 countries I was visiting for my pregnancy. And they told me I need to do C-section. And the last one was here in the Netherlands. I gave a birth and the planned C-section. But after the second baby gave a birth, I just started feeling that my left lower abs started pulling, and I wasn't sure what it was. And then when I was giving the birth on the third one, the doctor told me that it's a lot of adhesion over the scar tissue. So then she said, well, it's quite a lot, so I need to shave it off. So I said, oh, sure, why not? Please shave it off. So it's going to be easier for me. And also it kind of makes sense. That's why it's pulling sensation that I had after the second one. After the third one, giving a birth, I feeling good, so I don't have any sensation that much. Then one night when I was taking a shower, I kind of realized, wait a minute. As a therapist, as an athletic trainer, when people came out, injured athletes who did the surgery came out, and after a while, what we want to do is going to be the scar tissue massage. And because of everything need to kind of sliding around, so every layer is going to be actually functional. But then none of the doctors or nurse or the people surrounded me. I gave 3 births. I visited 5 countries, 11 cities, but none of the medical professional told me that I should do scar tissue massage to prevent adhesion. And even the doctor who's shaving off my adhesion didn't tell me I should do scar tissue massage afterwards to prevent this. And then in my head, then what's going on? Like, I'm not the first person who gave a birth. There's a C-section. It's been a long time and many people doing it. How much we have a gap between the medical professional. Doctors, her duty is kind of safely, they need to deliver the baby, and you need to keep that the mom is safe too, right? They don't have how to prevent that adhesion. That's not their job. So I feel like everybody has an individual professional role, but in between there's no bridge. They don't see as a whole my life. They don't see that what could happen, how I can prevent the adhesion unless I ask. And then after learning for Sarah's program, it just really made me think that how much body is changing because of how it's quite demanding to raising the baby. So our attention is not going to go to ourselves at all. Like once you have a time, like maybe in the baby is 2 years old, maybe you think that, I have a time, so maybe I'm going to start taking care of myself. But people think that I'm not postpartum anymore because it's already past 2 years. So I really see that how much our perception of the postpartum, the impact we receive from the pregnancy. Like my friend who has sons 10 years old, she talk about, I have a lower back pain leaking, but maybe because I'm getting old. But it's not only the getting old, there's some reason behind. That's why it's better to reconnect with their own body. And then some people just give up. But I think there's no reason to give up. They still can perform whatever you want to do it. They just didn't know the tool, where it's coming from.
Yes, and not to normalize, okay, I had a baby, so now I leak.
Yeah, this is it. No,
No, something's up. We need to work on it.
How much impact in the structure changing and the muscle function is going to changing. We need to know to pass on to the next generation, because I have 3 girls. I have 2 sisters. My mom is 2 sisters. I was surrounded by women. So now I need to pass on something good to my daughters. And I'm hoping that the postpartum care is going to be improved to the next generation. So that's another mission that I have.
But to treat birth, labor as a surgery, basically, to treat it a little bit more like, especially if you had a C-section, huge abdominal surgery, and then nothing. And it's crazy because If I have like a small ankle injury, they give me physical therapy for 8 weeks.
Yeah, true.
Like I had an ankle injury. Oh my God, I was in physical therapy for 2 years.
6 weeks checkup, and then if you're clear, right? After that, you're gone. And that, And then, but what I learned is that the diastasis, 100% of the woman has a diastasis, some level. And then even 1 year later, still 30% of people has still diastasis. But wait a minute, 6 weeks postpartum checkup, you are cleared. So you believe you cleared, right? Do you know what I mean? But still, 1 year later, 30% of people still have the diastasis. What does it mean?
Yeah, it means that the doctor is only really a surgeon. They're not really, they're not really caretaking your whole body. They're just making sure that you are not having infection, that you're not torn, this and that.
So that's a medical system gap, isn't it? So no one taking care of after. So like you said, that the physio for that specifically, if someone has a product from that point, then maybe they want to have a pelvic floor physical therapist referral could happening. But I personally didn't happen. And then I went to get scar tissue massage by myself because no one told me. And after my experience, I thought I should do it. So I need to be initiated. I need to have some knowledge to prevent it.
Yeah. I mean, like an ankle injury or knee injury, I don't know the stuff with the other countries, but it should be, you have an ankle injury, you get this much physical therapy, go, What I'd love to ask you about and for you to talk about, number one, the first C-section, if you can talk about why you planned it. And then number two, your scar tissue, what do you learned about scar tissue massage and how you like to use that tool?
Okay. First one was, she was bleached. So then that's why they told me that, I need to do that C-section. In my head, it was natural birth. That's what I wanted to do. So we kind of tried to shifting her position. The manually, they're going to maneuver to try to turning her around. I don't remember the name. But that time, I just felt that what kind of an ego do I have? That she did a big human being tried to pushing the baby down. And I can't, they told me I need to really relax. But I couldn't relax because I feel like, whoa, you're bigger than me, and to try to push me and the baby. And I wanted to try as much as possible for the natural birth. But the fact that put the pressure on myself and the baby, I kind of more get okay. So no, it's okay. Whatever, it's safer, I'm going to do it. And for that C-section scar massage was actually, I went to that local physical therapist who's specialized in the C-section scar massage. And at that time, I was still after that she shoved off that adhesion. So it was still moving quite okay. But I still wanted to get the technique, how I should do it. And so that's why I went. So she just did a little massage and gentle one. And she showed me that a bit of a kinesiotaping, the technique, which is quite easy to do. So I actually shared at the Facebook group that how to do that kinesiotaping, because that's everybody can do it. So that's what I did. So it's after that, I see more like I don't feel that pulling sensation or anything like that. And yeah.
So is the technique the kinesiotaping? Is that the first thing you would suggest?
Because sometimes after the C-section, your body is completely disconnected. And sometimes you're kind of scared to even touch yourself. And that's how I felt too. Feel like really disconnected. It's not mine. Touch around the scar itself is really quite the fight against myself about the fear. Is it the real my thing? Or am I going to open that up again? So you don't feel comfortable about doing whatever you're doing around that scar. Well, I don't know how accessible it is in the US, but if someone is kind of fighting against to it, then I suggest to go to the PT or a massage therapist who does a scar tissue massage to go in there to start getting used to that being touched, and you can touch their body. So then once you learn from them the technique, then just you can do it by yourself, I think.
with the scar massage for the C-section, what is the goal when you have your fingers on it? Is it to feel like how many different layers should you be able to feel? Should you just be able to feel the skin and then right underneath it?
No, because it's a 7 layers actually cut.
Is that the number? Oh,
yeah. It's quite scary.
I mean, don't tell me that because then it's going to be in my mind all day. It's terrible.
So it needs to be quite deep. So when you start, first thing first, because you lose the sensation, right? And you feel like you don't have a connection with the body because you really feel like it's not your body part. So first you just feel like rubbing around. No, you don't even rub, just kind of like, how do you call it? Just really touching. Then start to getting the sensation back. And then once you really start to feeling, okay, it's became the part of your body, you need to take a time. It's not the one day thing. You just need to take time. And then from there, you're just kind of slowly moving around. Maybe starting from superficial, but far away from the scar tissue, because you need to feel comfortable. If you're doing by yourself, you really need to fight. And you don't want to fight either. Then you're going to have a tense up. So just really slowly moving around. And then once you feel getting comfortable, you just kind of more like putting the more like a pressure. So you can go reaching the deeper layers and going deeper and deeper. That's how it works. So it's quite deep. And that's what I learned is that how you stitches up, it could be affected by the blood itself too, right? So it's really so much. Yeah. Anyway, so 7 layers is cut. So much stuff going on.
7 layers.
We don't need
It's terrible.
Yeah, and then you didn't. Yeah, and then you didn't know, right? I didn't know until I study. So why we don't know about it? That is another thing that I feel like we should know. So the scar tissue massage is going to be common sense, like the same thing like a sprained ankle going to the PT physio. So same thing that if you're going to have a C-section, then you go to the massage therapist or PT to kind of releasing the start moving around. So yeah, that's quite amazing how much change is happening.
And you had 3, so that must have been like, it's just scar tissue on scar tissue. Yeah, that's crazy. So if you could talk about that first 6 weeks postpartum and what women can do to start the process so that at 6 weeks they can start exercise safely.
I think it just first thing that everybody gonna lose is especially people who can perform like high level, high skill people or like athlete and people. They didn't know how much disconnect with the body, pelvic floor awareness. Because some people think that you connected, but it's quite disconnected. So first, I'm going to be connect with the pelvic floor exercise. Start to reconnect with pelvic floor. So don't do exercise to try to squeeze or anything. You just need to know that your brain and then the muscle itself is actually connecting. Sometimes you try to squeeze, but you squeezing only butt cheeks. That could happen. So you need to actually check if the way you try to control or contracting is actually working. That's what definitely I'm going to suggest to do it. And after that, the breathing. And then the more breathing. Try to learning how to use the diaphragm. Make sure you're going to use it and try to let the diaphragm use it. Make sure you're going to have able to using that rib cage quite a lot. And the shoulder tightness is going to be gone. And also depends on the person, what kind of the bony structure is and what kind of muscle activating, how to releasing that diaphragm is challenging sometimes. The first thing first is going to be connected with the body. So make sure you're going to touch the muscle that you want to activate. Then you kind of give the good signal. So if you're going to do that, you feel like a pelvic floor is a contract only the back part, then I suggest to touch the front part of the pelvic floor and then try to contract it. Then you start to kind of giving the signal from brain to the muscle itself to giving a good signal. Like, I don't know how, So just this, try to give the good signal to the pelvic floor and just kind of reconnect yourself, then do more exercise. I think we skip that connection part often because you think that you'll be able to do it. But then at the end, you don't activate the proper muscle. So then you still have leaking and kind of stuff too. And only that's.
Did you have any of that stuff yourself?
I had the leaking at the beginning or after the third one. But that time I didn't study and I had no idea about the pelvic floor, to be honest. So I know they exist, but I didn't know exactly what I do. And then I knew about the Kegel, but I wasn't sure I'm doing right or not because I guess my brain is disconnected. After working with the Sarah, it's just really like getting at the big picture, where to start, because you don't want to skip doing some squat. The squat is important too, but are you actually activating a good muscle to doing the squat and the kind of stuff? I don't know. The same thing for that athlete. So like aerialist, you're using a lot of dynamic stuff, but you forget about the rotator cuff. So same thing that you need to reconnect first to kind of make sure that stabilization, the important the core foundation muscle to be reactivated, then doing the more functional or like a more dynamic exercise. So first thing first, I'm just going to suggest to do that the more reconnect with the pelvic floor and start with the breathing and the lower ab. For sure, this is a weakness for everybody. So this is I'm going to start with the 3 postpartum 6 week and releasing with a foam roller. Definitely.
Oh, foam rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's, as you're talking about this, and of course, this population knows a lot about this stuff because we make sure to talk about it all the time.
Mommy,
but it's just so crazy that you had 3 kids before you knew any of this.
Mommy.
And you're a trainer too. One last question. How about diastasis recti? What are your thoughts?
Those kids
How can women start to sew that together postpartum?
First thing first, I think everybody should know how to check the diastasis. So you kind of have your own basis. So because I didn't even know the third baby. They said that you still have a gap, but should be fine. That's why I was told for the 6 weeks postpartum checkup. So so first thing first, that you should know how to check your diastasis checkup. Everybody should know. And also, I also suggest to check in the whole ear. Like I said, the research talking about 1 year postpartum still 30% of 1 year postpartum still have a diastasis. And depends on the type of the exercise they're going to do. It could be stress on that. So I think just a regular checkup they should do. Start with the pelvic floor and the breathing and then slowly activating the lower arm. That's what we want to suggest to do that.
I love it. And I love that I have a new friend in Netherlands now. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Can we say thank you to Mayumi?
Bye.
Oh, no, you say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much to Mayumi for carving out the time. I know you've got 3 kiddos and you've got your own business. You're a busy mama. And sharing your insight and experience from having those kids and what you know about scar massage and your experience working for Cirque du Soleil. So great to have you. And thank you so much to Asa Watkins, sound engineer. Please honor me with the 5-star rating and a review where you get your podcast. You guys just smash that 5 stars. So simple, and leave me a sentence. It means so much. I will love you forever. Thank you so much. If you're interested in applying for teacher training, I would love to meet you. I'm so excited to meet you guys in person, be able to teach you, face to face. All right, guys, have an amazing week. I'll come back at you next week. Over and out. This is the Expecting Aerialist from Digitant Podcasts.